Thanks for joining us, everybody, for our media availability with Jaquan Brisker. If you guys have any questions, just use the raise hand feature and we'll get to you as we roll through here. And we can jump right to it and start with Tyler Donahue.
Good morning, Jaquan. I hope you're well.
Good morning.
We heard from a couple of your teammates yesterday that you have really stepped up as a vocal guy for this team this year. You were selected a team captain. Can you describe to us how those leadership skills have kind of come together and why it's the right time for you to take that step forward?
I feel like I always had the leadership qualities, especially when I was in junior college as a freshman and as a sophomore. I had leadership qualities where, I led my teammates, to an undefeated season the second year. And, Coach Duda had given me the keys. So when I got here, I just had to kind of get used to everything, used to the system and things like that. And I just wanted to show how hard I worked. But I felt like this year was the right time. And, I felt like I came back, for a reason. And I wanted to lead the team this year. And, obviously I got voted captain and, I try to show that I'm a leader on and off the field.
Go to Audrey Snyder. Corey Geiger, you're on deck.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning.
I wanted to ask you, what have been your impressions so far of Wisconsin's offense? What stands out to you? What do you think makes them potentially a challenge?
What stands out to me is that they're going to run the ball. That's going to be our challenge is to stop the run and make sure that we're gap accountable and that we're just in our right gaps. And, what stood out to me was, probably the quarterback, just because like Wisconsin probably hasn't had a quarterback like this since Russell Wilson. So I feel like, he has a strong arm and, he sits back there comfortably. So I would say that stood out to me.
Corey Geiger, New Bias, you're on deck.
I'll follow up with that because typically what stands out about Wisconsin will always be the running game. Can you expand a little bit more on, when you're comparing a kid to Russell Wilson, that's pretty high praise. Where do you get some of that, Jaquan?
I would say that just the way he controls the offense, watching film, I seen that, he could throw the ball, he could throw it deep, he could throw it outside, inside, and he reads defenses. And I also seen that, he'll be able to run when he wants to. If it's not there, he'll run the ball and, he has good speed to be able to scramble. So that's from what I seen from him. Since I can't really remember, a Wisconsin quarterback like this since Russell Wilson. So I feel like, he's balanced like Russell, if that makes sense.
Tobias Wilborn, and then we'll go to Donnie Collins.
What have you noticed over the last few weeks with your fellow safeties? Who have you seen kind of step up?
I think honestly, with all of us, it's been a great competition. So, I've been seeing it. A lot of people take strides, and especially Tyler Rudolph. I've been seeing him mature and take his strides, and also Keithnellis. Him coming from corner to safety. Big transition, but he's been showing tremendous strides. Same with Jair, and also a young Jalen Reed. Jalen Reed as a freshman, he definitely surprised me coming in, making some great plays and not really looking like a freshman. So basically, I feel like all the safeties look good, especially, and also I can't forget John Sutherland. John Sutherland definitely got better this camp, and it's going to show on the field.
Donnie Collins.
Hey, Jaquan, what have you noticed with the guys in front of you, with Brandon Smith and Curtis Jacobs? How has their position switch kind of changed what the linebackers are able to do?
I feel like, they're both athletic and fast, but, especially with Kurt. Kurt could play, all three backers, and I'm pretty sure Brandon could also. But Kurt's very, fast and athletic, and you could almost say he could be a safety, just how fast he is. And Brandon fits well to wherever he wants to play, whether that's the mic, the wheel, or out to the field. But where they're at right now, I feel like it fits them perfectly, and they're going to be able to play fast where they're at right now, position wise.
Audrey Snyder.
Sorry, I forgot I had my hand up still. Jaquan, last year, you guys collectively as a defense, the tackling early on was problematic. Not necessarily you, but the linebackers, it was an issue. Do you feel like that's going to be different this time around? I mean, have you seen anything in practice to suggest that you guys are going to tackle better out of the gate?
Yes, I feel like our tackling is going to be well, just because our practice habits in practice, we're always working on tackling or trying to get better, and especially, just the little small details, that's what we focused on, was the small details that get us back to, Penn State's defense, the top 10, top 5 defense in the country. So I feel like, Coach Pry and the staff, they got us together for this camp, and, we worked on the small details, and I feel like we'll be well at tackling this year.
We'll go to Greg Pickle. Joe Giuliano, you're on deck.
Good morning. I'm just curious what you've heard from either teammates of yours who play at other schools or teammates at Penn State about what it's like playing at Wisconsin, and just how excited you are, even though it's on the road, to have the chance to play in front of fans again.
From, probably from teammates from before, and also Coach Franklin, it's going to be a loud crowd. Especially in the fourth quarter when they do, they're jumping and things like that, and they start, getting the stadium crazy. And I would say that I feel like, it's the first game, especially with fans coming back. We're ready for the opportunity.
Joe Giuliano.
Hi, Jaquan. My question concerned takeaways for you guys. Wasn't a great year last year for takeaways. What have you been doing in drills and in camp to make sure you get more takeaways in the games?
I'll say as a secondary, we emphasize, getting on the jugs. We emphasize always working with a football, always getting ball work, and especially with, Coach Poindexter coming in, him working with Coach Terry and Coach V, they emphasize, attacking the ball. The ball's in the air, it's ours. So I feel like we have done a great job, working on, catching the ball, half pointing the ball, things like that. And during camp, we had a lot of, turnovers and things like that. So I feel like we're going to do way better than ever, I feel like, secondary wise.
Go back to Tyler Donahue and then Donnie Collins.
Jaquan, we spoke with you last year about this, but Jair Brown, I think a lot of fans are going to start to become more familiar with him this fall. You've known him for several years now. What are some, standout characteristics of what Jair Brown does on the football field that you think fans are going to like?
I think what fans are going to like about Jair Brown is, he's a football player. There's some things that you can't take away from him or you can't coach. Once he sees something, he makes a play on it. And, that's always good, especially when you have, especially when he has great instincts and, he knows the game very well. I feel like the fans are going to like, a Jair Brown and people like that because, he's just raw. He's just a football player. Like this is what he does. So, especially, he trusts his instincts and he's going to make plays regardless.
Donnie Collins, and then we'll go back to Corey Geiger.
Jaquan, if I recall correctly, Jair didn't come into Lackawanna with a whole lot of hype or recruiting talk or whatever, stuff like that. How quickly though did he kind of separate himself on the practice field there that first year?
I'll say at Lackawanna, he was a safety, and like our first scrimmage, our starter was having some problems. So Coach Duda and the staff had made a change like during that scrimmage that he was gonna go to free safety at first, and I just remember telling him like, let's go, it's your time, because them making a change like that, him coming in, I wanted him to feel comfortable, and just like how he played in high school, he could play here his freshman year in junior college. So when he stepped on the field, it wasn't no time to think, it was time to go. And ever since then, he made his transition to corner, and we played on the same side from here and there. It all depends like where the field was, but we had played on the same side and things like that. And he was comfortable with me, and he ended up playing very well that year. He had a couple interceptions, and he made a lot of great plays. So once he got comfortable, obviously he's a football player, and he let his instincts take over.
Corey Geiger, then your new bias, Wilborn.
Once noon starts, 11 a.m. out there. Traditionally, and this goes back many years, Penn State has kind of had some issues with early starts, especially on the road. What's got to be the mindset to come out and be ready right from the start, especially against a team that's going to be really, really physical?
Start fast. The time, it shouldn't determine, how we, come out or things like that. Just start fast, do what we got to do on defense, and the offense is going to handle their business also. So, just start fast, match the physicality, because we're a physical team also. So, just, that's the word of the week, start fast. No matter what time it is, football is football.
New bias?
Yeah. What have you noticed with Brent Pry this year? James had mentioned that he and Mike Yurkich had kind of got some little one-on-one competition. What have you kind of seen with that?
Coach Pry, very competitive. Also, I seen that he matches our energy, especially when we get big stops or anything like that. He's on the sideline jumping up and down, or, he's bringing that energy with us. I wouldn't say he has been like flat the past 2 years, but this year you could tell like, he has a lot of energy, he's super aggressive and things like that. So, I like Coach Pry. He's been competing, all camp and, all year. So I like what he's been doing.
Go to Greg Pickle, and then we'll go back to Audrey Snyder.
I'm good to go. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Audrey, up to you.
Greg was just seeing if you guys are awake. Jaquan, you had mentioned several times before about getting your opportunities as a kick returner, and I know that that's been a possibility and it's come up. Do you think you're going to get that shot now? And if so, what do you think makes you an effective returner?
I believe I will get my shot, if Coach Lorig and, Coach Franklin put me back there. But I feel like me being an effective returner would be, just my speed. And, I'm not going to be taken down easily by one person, but I feel like I can make plays in the open field. And if it come close to, a close gap or whatever, I could break through that gap or, gain some yards for our offense, great field position. I feel like I could always get us great field position, and I could be an explosive return, especially with the speed I got and the offensive background I used to have. I still got it. I never lost it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tyler Donahue, and then Donnie Collins.
Jaquan, you mentioned Keithnellis making that transition over to safety, and we heard some good things about him recently from the coaching staff as well. What about his skill set kind of translates so well moving from corner where he was the first couple of years?
He plays the center field very well. You know, it almost looked like he's out there playing baseball. You know, the way he tracks the ball down, and he's always making great plays on the ball. Just the way, you know, he reads the quarterback and he trusts his instincts. You know, he always will refer back to his instincts. So I feel like, you know, he plays like a center fielder out there, and he attacks the ball, you know, whether it's left or right. You know, he's going to be there with speed, and he's going to get up there with, you know, the hops he has. So I feel like he's done a great job.
We have time for a couple more. We'll go to Donnie, and then we'll wrap up with Audrey.
Jaquan, I know you've been on some pretty tight-knit teams over the years. How does this one compare with some that you've been on in the past? And how much did not being able to be around your teammates consistently last year kind of contribute to that?
I feel like, you know, this year's team is very close. You know, the 2019 team, I feel like we're closer than that team. You know, just the vibe that, you know, the good vibes that we have in the locker rooms and, you know, on the field. And, you know, when it's on the field, it's all business. When we're in the locker room, you know, we're having fun, we're family time. Or, you know, when it's off the field, you know, we're going over each other's houses, playing video games, you know, doing things like that. And I feel like last year played a huge part just because, you know, we had to go through COVID and, you know, be separated, not have like team meetings together, and, you know, not having that family connection, not really seeing each other off the field because we were just in a bubble. You know, we didn't really know what was going on and things like that. And I feel like that really affected us. And, you know, I could say it really affected me because, you know, just, you know, that's chemistry in the locker room and chemistry with your coaches and things like that. And that's important for a player also. So I feel like that really affected us last year, not making an excuse, but it was definitely a big part. And, you know, this year, you know, we're more family-like, we're closer together, and I like where we're heading.
I'll finish up with Audrey Snyder.
You mentioned a while ago about jump around and the start of the fourth quarter at Camp Randall. What do you guys know about that? Because I know James Franklin said he's never coached there before. For you guys, I know some teams, when they go in there, they say they plan to jump going into the fourth quarter and use that energy. Like, have you guys talked about any of that stuff? Or
No, honestly, we're just, you know, focused on, you know, going in there and starting fast. You know, we're not really worried about what they do in the fourth quarter or things like that, but we just, you know, obviously we've seen things over social media, or, you know, Coach Franklin just gives us a heads up, you know, what they do in the fourth quarter. But, you know, we're not really worried about, you know, jumping around in the fourth. You know, we're just worried about, you know, coming out there on Saturday at 11 o'clock and starting fast and taking it a snap by snap.
All right. Thank you, Jaquan. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.